Hey everybody, it's your boy Cinematous. I review all media dealing with might and magic, and tonight we are reviewing House of the Dragon Season 2, Episode 8, the season finale. Now, as Game of Thrones finales go, they are very controversial, and according to most people, a lot of people, I'm not going to say most, but a lot of people on X, formerly known as Twitter, it is always an underwhelming event. Well, me personally, I loved it. I appreciated it. I think the writers did an amazing job. The actors did a phenomenal job. The cinematography was beautiful. I liked it. It is what I expected. I didn't expect anything more. I didn't expect anything less. And I feel like it's because I'm an artist, a singer, songwriter, producer, graphic designer. So I study other artists. So when you watch the show, you know you're not going to get the biggest bang in the second season of a Game of Thrones type show. It's gonna make you want more. So, I liked it. I enjoyed it. 10s across the board for me. So yeah. Let's get into the recap. In just a few seconds. And this is my first time going live, by the way, y'all. We're going to test StreamYard out, see what it has to offer before I make sure that this is where I'm definitely going to go live at from now on. So far, so good. All right, so we begin in Essos. Wild animals apparently freely roam the land. Tywin Lannister of Casterly Rock, the master of ships at King's Landing, is treating with the pirates of Essos to discuss using their fleet for the war. They decide on aiding the Lannister army with a fleet of warships to break Lord Corlys's blockade in exchange for ownership of the Stepstones. The blockade has devastated King's Landing's trade market. After the war, the pirates plan to impose a tax on people passing through. The pirates agree to these terms. However, there is one stipulation. The commander of the Essos fleet, Admiral Lohar, must accompany him to the battle with the Valyrian fleet. Tywin Lannister is surprised the Admiral is a woman, Shakaro Lohar, a rather brazen woman who is actually not all that impressed with Tywin, and she lets him know full well what she thinks of him. And with that being said, she refuses him because she feels he cannot best her. Tywin mistakenly thinks she means besting her at a game of wits. And here is the big bad Vhagar in all their furious glory. Look at the teeth on this beauty. one of the largest and deadliest dragons. Wielded by a mentally and emotionally disturbed Targaryen prince, the one, the only, Aemon Targaryen, who is now enraged at the recent rise to power of Queen Rhaenyra, who now wields 7 dragons. Aemon lays waste to the city of Sharppoint to show the blacks that the greens will not fold, destroying the lives of thousands. Back at King's Landing in the Red Keep, King Aegon slowly and painfully recovers from his dragonfire wounds. He is being cared for by the Grand Maester, who is sneaking him some milk of the poppy. This is against Lord Larrys's advice. And wouldn't you know, Lord Larrys unexpectedly comes in. He urges the king that they have to leave King's Landing at once. He explains that Rhaenyra has 7 dragons in total. Aemon has laid waste to Sharppoint, a town that bent the knee to Rhaenyra. This act will be answered with violence. It is not safe to be in King's Landing. Aegon immediately refuses this plan because he feels that all is lost because he, the king, is now crippled. And he continues to let the Grand Maester know that his manhood actually burst like a breakfast sausage. Therefore, he is not only is he not able to enjoy the pleasures of adult happy time, but he can no longer sire any more heirs. Lord Larrys reminds him that Aemon means to kill him. Aegon says he will simply have Aemon seized for his treason. Lord Larrys explains this war will bring King's Landing to ruin. Aemon will surely fall, as well as Rhaenyra. It's best to go to Essos until the war is over to avoid certain death. Lord Larrys convinces him there will be no winners in this war. It is best to escape now and return once both sides have faltered. Hold on, we kind of getting a little further on than I wanted to. Give me 1 second. All right, there we go. All right. So Aegon agrees to this plan, proclaiming upon his return and the rebuilding of King's Landing that he will be known as Aegon, the realm's delight. On the mountainside of the Eyrie, in the Vale of Arryn, Rhaena is still desperately tracking down the wild dragon. We're not sure just how long she has been out there. Clearly, it has been quite a while, considering she starts raw dogging a nearby stream that she spots. Hopefully, her determination will be met with victory instead of dragonfire. Back at Dragonstone, Prince Lucerys, aka Luke, runs into Ulf and Hugh in the meeting hall. Ulf has his feet on the painted table. Luke is offended by Ulf's lack of manners and warns him that his insolence will not be tolerated. Luke informs them of Aemon laying waste to Sharppoint. Thus reminding them of the importance of their new post as dragon riders. At Driftmark, the Valyrian fleet prepares the Sea Snake for war. Lord Corlys and Rhaenyra discuss war strategies. Rhaenyra would like to exercise restraint and deterrence. Corlys suggests to strike Aemon and Vhagar now while he is vulnerable and still planning his next move. And before Aemon can recruit his oldest brother, who has a dragon. And then there is Helena with her dragon, Dreamfire. Lord Corlys says, you must crush this beast at its head and before too many days have flown. In honor of his late wife, Rhaenys, Lord Corlys has renamed his ship to the Queen Who Never Was. At Harrenhal, Sir Alfred Broom has come to see if Daemon stays the course in honor of Queen Rhaenyra, or if he has moved to prepare for his own claim to the Iron Throne. After showing him the army of the Riverlands he has amassed, Daemon escorts him to the Weirwood Tree to speak in private. As they stand in front of the Weirwood Tree, Sir Alfred hears a howling sound. Daemon jokingly says, this place will have you barking at the moon. Sir Alfred goes on to tell Daemon that Rhaenyra has faltered, turning aside from the small council's judgment and taking a reckless course. Daemon fires back. I never took you for a turncloak, Sir Alfred. Sir Alfred responds, Rhaenyra's intentions are good, but what we need is a king. Sir Simon Strong overhears this conversation. This causes great concern to Sir Simon, considering that he has been consistently reminding Daemon that he is the king consort and not the king. Back at King's Landing at the Red Keep, Lord Jasper informs Daemon that the Blacks have sent small boats to the harbor to collect the small folk who believe they had any small drop of Targaryen blood in them. Aemon orders him to see to it that any vessel coming or going from the harbor is inspected. In the Queen's chamber, Queen Helena speaks to Queen Alicent, or the Dowager Queen Alicent, and she says, why does everyone hate us? Alicent replies, they're unhappy, and unhappy people look for someone to hate. Aemon barges in and tells Helena he needs her to fly her dragon Dreamfire to the battle to level the playing field with Rhaenyra's new dragon riders. Helena refuses. He then grabs her to force her to the dragon pit. Alicent is disturbed by this brutal force that he is using against his sister, the Queen. She stops him and tells him this warpath is ruining the lives of countless innocent people. He feels as though it's because of her weakness that they are in this state of peril today. She asks him, is it peril that moved you to burn the town of Sharp Point? Peril or basest fury at your own humiliation? Alicent then pushes Helena out of Aemon's grasp and across the room. Aemon argues the point that it is not only their rule that is threatened, but their very lives that are threatened. He asks, would you not have us prevail? Alicent says, not like this. Not like this. Now, we all know by now the consequences of going against Aemon in any way. See, this issue with Aemon all stems from Viserys and Alicent allowing him to keep Vhagar, the dragon he stole as a child the night of the funeral procession of his Aunt Lena. This was very irresponsible of his parents to allow him to keep a stolen dragon. Vhagar probably would have belonged to Rhaena. Aemon walks away frustrated, surely planning on a way to get rid of his mother now. Alicent knows that this argument with Aemon will not fare well for her. After all, she does suspect that Aemon did have Aegon burnt. Alicent quickly meets with the Grand Maester and asks him to discreetly provide passage out of King's Landing for herself and Helena. She knows that no one is safe in King's Landing anymore. The Grand Maester agrees. Now my question is, what will he do for his safety? What secrets does he hold to keep himself safe during this time of war? After all, he has witnessed one of the small council members be murdered by Criston Cole. He is no fool. I'm curious to see his next move. Out on the war trail, Sir Criston Cole holds on to Alicent's blessing clause. Finally interrupting this sentimental moment, Sir Gawain holds a sword to his neck. He has discovered Cole's affair with his sister Alicent. He is quite furious about Cole's lack of honor. Clearly, the other knights brought this affair to his attention, as they all don't seem surprised and are eagerly watching this confrontation. Cole calmly addresses the rumor and counts it off as par for the course of their current grim existence. And Cole says to him, "Do the honorable really exercise honor?" After all, Sir Gawain is a Hightower and is well aware the last thing his family is honorable. Everyone knows that the Hightowers usurped the throne from Queen Rhaenyra. Cole also delivers a chilling view of the current state of the Vale. He says the dragons dance and men are like dust under their feet. This dark omen leaves Sir Gawain speechless. Back at Essos, Tywin Lannister is being plunged into a mud pit. Turns out, when Admiral Lohar refused to accompany Tywin Lannister because she felt that he couldn't best her, she didn't mean best her at a game of wits. She meant best her at fighting in a mud pit. Surprise, surprise. The onlooking pirates thoroughly enjoy seeing Tywin being thrown around like a rag doll. After a grueling hand-to-hand combat, Tywin does manage to best her with a blow to the stomach and an elbow to the face. The onlookers didn't see that coming. To Tywin's disbelief, she quickly recovers and is pleased by his show of strength and invites him to attend a feast later that night in honor of their union, to feast on the blood of their enemies. To his delight, he finds this is just a jest. Back at Dragonstone, Luke sulks because of the possibility of the new Dragon Riders challenging his heirship to the throne post-war. Bela is there to comfort him and assure him of his position as heir to the throne. She also makes the point that he is not the first heir that was not sired by his rightful highborn parentage. Now is not the time to be at odds with his mother, Queen Rhaenyra. Now is the time to stand in full support and firmly by her side. Finding these new Dragon Riders was the best decision, and because of it, they have the advantage in this war. In the Eyrie, Rhaena is sleeping, surely exhausted from her impromptu quest to find the wild dragon. Back at Essos, squid is served. For the feast of the union of the Lannister army and the Essos fleet. Tywin terribly sings a song for the pirates. The feast is full of merriment, drunkenness, and dancing. Admiral Lohar proposes a toast in honor of their alliance. Lohar expresses her fondness of him. She then randomly tells him she would like to have his children through him impregnating her wives. He scarcely asked, "How many wives do you have?" Back at Dragonstone, Queen Rhaenyra hosts a dinner in honor of the new Dragon Riders, Adam of Hall, Hugh, and Ulf of King's Landing. Rhaenyra is explaining the rarity of their new post, as well as Aemon's recent demolishing of Sharp Point. There will be collateral damage to come with this war. Ulf is not used to being in a royal setting and continuously has to be reminded to mind his tongue. Ulf is making everyone uncomfortable at the table with his terrible table manners, especially Lucerys. Rhaenyra plans to make them knights. Ulf is overly ecstatic by this change of luck, clearly not taking any of this as seriously as he should. Rhaenyra goes on to tell them that the strongholds of the usurper, Old Town and Lannisport, and all their armies must be subdued. Thousands of innocents will be harmed. She then gets a letter from the Maester from Harrenhal. She thinks that it's from Daemon, but it is actually from Sir Simon, due to that conversation that Daemon had. He thinks that there might be treason at hand. Disturbed by this, she then calls for Adam of Hall to come with her. Back at Harrenhal, Daemon is asleep, only to be awakened by the presence of Alice Summers. He angrily asks, "Do you ever sleep, witch?" She tells him she is going to the Godswood. As she leads him to the Godswood, she says, "You wish to bend the world to your will, but you've discovered, I think, that this world will not be governed." She continues, all your life, you've sought to command your own fate. But today, you are ready. Damon proceeds to press his hands into the black sap of the godswood tree. He is immediately thrust into a dreamlike state. He is taken to the vast roots of the tree at another time, past or present. We then see Brendan Summers. Then we have the three-eyed raven coming in for a close-up. Alas, the White Walkers. Then we have a fallen dragon. Then we have Damon walking through what seems to be war wreckage. Then he steps into a puddle that turns out to be a body of water. Then we have that comet that was flying across the sky in the Game of Thrones. This was the sign of magic coming back into the world. Then we have 3 dragon eggs. Behold, the mother of dragons, Khaleesi. Then we have Queen Rhaenyra on the Iron Throne. Damon has now experienced a dragon dream. But wait, there's more. Helena speaks to him through this dream. She says, it's all a story. You're but one part in it. You know your part. You know what you must do. Back at the Red Keep, Helena overlooks King's Landing. Aemon appears behind her. He tries to coerce her into flying her dragon Dreamfire to attack Damon at Harrenhal. She says, and if I refuse, will you burn me as you did Aegon? Damon says that is a lie. Helena says, I saw it. You burnt him, and you let him fall. Aemon says, what you say is treason. Helena says, Aegon will be king again. He has yet to see victory. He sits on a wooden throne. And you'll be dead. You were swallowed up in the God's eye, and you were never seen again. Damon says, I could have you killed. Helena says, it wouldn't change a thing. Helena then leaves him there, devastated by her prophecy. Rhaenyra and Adam of Hall head to Harrenhal on Dragonback. After receiving word of Damon's possible treason from Sir Simon, Damon's dragon sees the 2 dragons and their riders flying overhead. Rhaenyra wants to see for herself if Damon still stands for her. Sir Simon has come outside of the castle walls to greet her. Once inside, she is surprised to see a great army assembled. They are just as surprised to see her. Just then, Damon enters into the great hall with his dragon. He walks through the knights to get to her. Rhaenyra carefully inspects his demeanor. Rhaenyra backs away and boldly asks him, "And to whom are you sworn?" Daemon speaks in High Valyrian and says, "This world is not what we thought it was. The war is just beginning. Winter is coming, with darkness and doom." She says, "You sound like my father." He says, "I saw it. I saw we cannot withstand it, and yet somehow we must. The realm's only hope is a leader who can unite it, and my brother chose you." He then bends the knee to Rhaenyra. The rest of the knights bend their knee as well. Sir Alfred Broom bends his knees as well, with a disturbed look on his face. He knows he has made the wrong decision in trying to coerce Daemon. Wait a minute, it's getting away from me. Hold on. All right. He knows he has made the wrong decision in trying to coerce Daemon in taking the Iron Throne for himself. Sir Simon is relieved by this outcome. Rhaenyra warns him, "Leave me again at your peril." Daemon says, "I could not. I have tried." They all raise their swords in her honor. At the docks of Driftmark, Lord Corlys is overseeing his ship's preparation. He has a word with his bastard son, Alan of Hall. He tells him to be more familiar with the crew so that they feel more comfortable in their service to him. When Alan militarily agrees to the instruction and walks away, Lord Corlys excels, "I am trying to help." This triggers Alan, and he is propelled to put his father in his place. He tells him what it was like to be hungry and cold and sneered at as a bastard, all while he was forced to watch as his royally sired siblings were adorned in furs and eating fine foods. And after two of his half-siblings and the heir, Lucerys, to Driftmark that took his place are now dead, now he wants to scatter his favor? He said if he is to survive this war, he wishes to continue as he began, alone. Alan then walks away as Corlys stands there. How terrible to have lost a daughter to suicide by dragon fire, a son murdered and then burnt, a wife killed from dragon to dragon combat, and now left with two bastard sons who surely resent him due to his negligence. All that time spent out at sea on conquest and collecting items to display in his hall, only to lose his entire royal family. Back at the Eyrie, Rhaena finally spots the wild dragon flying about. She begins to chase it down. Will this be her moment to bond with the dragon? Back at Dragonstone, Rhaenyra and Lady Mysaria watch as the dragons playfully fly in the sky. Lady Mysaria says, "You have done what no one else would dream of. And you have been rewarded. The gods favor you. They have put the victory in your hands." Rhaenyra responds, "And yet, to claim it, I must strike. And in striking, I doom thousands to their deaths. I do not believe my father would have wanted this." Lady Mysaria responds, "He left you with no choice. Be strong. You know you are just. You must not let the realm fall to those who care for power more than peace. You must prevail." Rhaenyra replies, "And who pays the cost?" Later on at Dragonstone, Rhaenyra lies in bed. She is awakened by a knock at the door by the guard. To her surprise, it is the one, the only, Alicent. Rhaenyra demands for her to tell her why she is there. Alicent tells her that all hope is lost of any hopes of a peaceful end for the realm. She admits to being delusional in her virtues. In actuality, she was more so defiant of Rhaenyra's rebellion of the order of her royal duties. She would like nothing. She would like nothing more than to be free from the duties she's put before all else. She would like to take Helena and leave it all behind. Rhaenyra argues the point that she has played a major part in the High Towers usurping the throne. Alicent devises a plan where Aemon flies off to meet Criston Cole in the Riverlands. When he's gone, she will see that Helena's authority as queen is put into play to have the royal guard throw down their swords, open the gates. No blood will be shed, and she will take the Iron Throne, putting an end to this war. Rhaenyra reminds her that she has to choose, but to put an end to the opposition by taking Aegon's head for all to see. Rhaenyra tells Alicent to choose. Alicent agrees to Rhaenyra's terms. A son for a son. Rhaenyra lets her know that history will paint her a villain, a cold queen, grasping for power, and then defeated. Alicent replies, "Let them think what they must. I am at last myself, with no ambition greater than to walk free and where I please, and to breathe the fresh air, to die unremarked or unnoticed, and be free." Rhaenyra says, "You speak as if from a distant dream. Allison says, come with me. Rhaenyra replies, my part is here. Whether I will or no, it was decided for me long ago. Go. Allison hastily walks away. Then we have Hugh, Adam of Hall, and Ulf, all suit up for the battle at hand. The next morning, the knights are marching off to battle. Daemon has the Riverlands army assembled. Allison is marching off to her freedom. The queen, who never was, is at sea to defend the blockade. Tyler Lannister and Admiral Lohar are at sea with their fleet. Rhaena finally tracks down the wild dragon. Otto Hightower is in prison for reasons unknown. Lord Larys and King Aegon escape King's Landing out of Aemon's clutches. Allison looks out over the horizon. Rhaenyra does the same. The end. And that is the recap. What's the recap of House of the Dragon Season 2, the finale? So, hold on, let me get everything set up. And thank you all for checking in with me. This is my first review online, and it was a learning experience. But it was definitely my pleasure to go through this labor, because this show is very detailed. When I first did it, I said, I'm just going to go on and go ahead and review it. But I said, no, I want to write this stuff down. I want to get everything right. And I'm glad I did it. It was a labor of love, and it is done. So that's the recap. So let me just quickly get back to the screen first. Hold on, y'all. Let's see. I like this better. Which one do I like? I like the view where I'm like at the bottom of the screen, but I don't see that now. Anyway, like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. I know a lot of people were saying, oh, this was just, an hour-long preview of, an hour-long trailer. But I disagree. I feel like it gave me exactly what I needed. I thought maybe one battle would ensue, but it didn't. And let me see. And shout outs to Yo-Yo in the chat. She says the cliffhanger was too much for me. Yeah. Yeah, it was a big cliffhanger, but I appreciated it. I really appreciated it. I didn't expect anything else. I'm like, after episode 7, I really did not expect too much more. I didn't expect any more battles. And truth be told, Rhaenys was enough for me. Like, seeing Rhaenys fall was enough for me. And, we didn't see her splatter or anything, but yeah, it was what it was. I enjoyed it. I didn't expect anything else. So let's just get into, so that was the recap that I did. Let's just get into my personal review. So first of all, Essos was lit. This monkey really threw me off. I'm like, oh, so y'all got monkeys walking around here? Like, okay, and the pirates really threw me for a loop because, this is something that we really haven't, seen. We haven't really seen any new settings. So, outside of Rhaena in the Vale running around chasing after the dragon. But, just seeing, I'm trying to find the one with the blue hair. Where is the blue hair guy? He's somewhere around here. But anyway, I was like, yo, these pirates are something else. And Admiral Lohar was a piece of work. You hear me? A piece of work. Just rude, disrespectful. And I didn't know what she meant by, besting her either. And then, of course, we had my favorite shot of the mighty, mighty Vhagar and all those teeth that will just rip you to shreds. But I feel like they gave really good cinematography, really great shots. And when you see the making of it, they're literally like sitting on something mechanical. So they really did a good job. And to see him lay this town to waste, like, come on. And this always gets me. Vhagar, let me put my little pointer on. Let's see, where's my little laser pen? Yeah. You see, like, I love it, the fact that they had, like, this is an old dragon with these holes in the wings and everything. Like, that is a G of a dragon. That is an OG. Like, seriously. Let's see. Some of my favorite shots. And, every time you see Aegon, it's just like, oh, man. I mean, I just feel like he just did not deserve this from Aemon. Like, I think I don't know if it was episode, I think it was the first season it was the first season when the White Worm pretty much delivered him back to the family, because he was like, passed out and stuff, and they brought him into the set. And when they found him, he grabbed his brother, and he's like, listen, let's just run away. But Aemon was still holding on to the fact that he's not the next in line, and just how Aegon was just an asshole to him growing up. And I get it. I mean, but damn, I would not, if you're just constantly like making jokes at me, and I know the last time he was in a brothel and Aemon was like butt naked and he was making fun of him, but I mean, you're a prince, that's your brother, you know how he rolls, burning him with a dragon. I mean, you could have just punched him in the face, And then it was just funny because, let me see if I can find it. You could tell that he really wanted that milk of the poppy. He had to snatch it back when Lord Larys came in. And he was just like, oh, God. But my question is, why does everybody have full access to this man's chambers? I'm sorry, I would have had a night there like, listen, do not let anybody come in unless I tell them to, like, for real. Like, don't just be barging in on me. I'm not feeling that. Let's see, what else? Trying to think of any other scenes that really stood out for me. Yeah, this was messed up right here. Like, Kristen Cole was just in his feels, and here comes Sir Gawain talking his trash about it. Like, okay, what do you expect? She doesn't have a husband anymore. He's her sworn hand. But then what got me was how all these dudes, let me see, all these dudes was just standing around watching. They was just standing around watching. They knew what was going on because they're the ones that told them about it, clearly. Like, why would y'all do that during a war too? Like, come on now. None of y'all are really guards like that. None of you are really honorable like that. So for y'all to be spilling his tea was rather messed up, you know. So then we have the mud scene. Now, when I did the previews, when I was watching the previews, it really threw me because I was like, who is this? I didn't know who it was. I'm like, is this somebody, like, who is this? Did somebody fall? Did somebody get trampled? Because they showed this like really quickly. Unless you paused it, you really wouldn't have known who it was. And plus, we never seen. Well, I don't recall seeing him. Well, no, we did see him, but you know, anybody covered in mud, you don't know who they are. Now, here's the no, not this shot. The pirates, the blue hair. Come on now, the blue hair. And I swear somebody else had another color, but I'm like, yeah, these are some really, really pirates. I feel like they designed this well because pirates were a bit flamboyant and rugged at the same time. So yeah, for them to have colored hair, like, where are you getting this color blue from? Are you literally like buying this from the market? Oh man, but yeah, he was getting his ass handed to him by Admiral Lohar until he was able to really deliver a blow to her. And like, oh, like, what did y'all expect? But the way she recovered, like, this right here is hilarious. He's like, okay, you're getting back up. I just knocked you in your face and in your stomach. Like, I elbowed you in the face and now you're getting back up. And she's just loving it. This lady is out of her freaking mind. Just a few more. Get on out of here. Again, I thank y'all for hanging in with me. Yeah, Ulf, definitely an asshole. Definitely trying it at this table. Like, bruh, you need to calm down. You just got a dragon. I'm surprised they didn't order his head chopped off, but they need him. And he knows it, but don't press your luck. We all know how royals can end up. Then we have Damon's Dragon Dream. Now, I didn't know who this was at first till I went online. I'm like, Brendan Summers. Okay, wow. You know, so is he the White Walker? Because this looks like him. And you know, dragon, the White Walkers, remember, they got the dragon out of the sea. And I know that he falls into the God's Eye. I believe the God's Eye is somewhere in the sea or something like that. So are the Targaryens the White Walkers? Like, clearly he has white hair, you know. So yeah, that was interesting. And then to see this comet again, it just brought back nostalgia from Game of Thrones. Like, how cool. And then to see the dragon eggs, like, yeah, these are Khaleesi's dragons. And then to see her, that this is what really got me, because I'm like, oh yeah, she's coming back. Because the way they took her out in Game of Thrones, it's like, nah, y'all can't let her go out like that. Plus, her dragon carried her off, y'all. The dragon carried her off. Like, what dragon carries a rider off? So I feel like, you know, they took her somewhere to revive her. And I feel like she's coming back. And everybody keeps saying, like, well, she's Zora Hyde. She's supposed to be like, I don't know, this resurrected character. I don't know the logistics. But yeah, overall, like I said, I really enjoyed it. Like, I felt like I was at the movies. And I just feel like a lot of people just don't know how to party when they're watching the show. They just don't know how to have a good time when you're watching the show. Like, watch the show, enjoy the show, have something good to eat. I think that's what it was. I don't think y'all had good enough food. See, I was having meals. I don't know, maybe y'all had popcorn or something like that, but I was having a meal every time the show was on. That's when I did my shorts. Like, I was straight up in my bed eating my meal, not on the couch, in the bed. Now, I have a power bed, so that's a little different. So y'all might want to invest in that, where a bed can, you know, lift up and all that type of stuff. Yeah, because this was in your bed, in your drawers TV. I love every bit of it. Let me see. I'm trying to find that last shot that I'm looking for. Yeah, this took me out. Wait, let me go back. She's like, oh, finally, she's probably, she ain't had nothing but that nasty ass river water, ain't brushed her teeth, ain't no bathroom nowhere. She probably was wiping her booty with leaves, all to find the dragon. It was worth it. And then to see this dragon, and this dragon, I mean, y'all, look at these wings. Like, what the hell? His name is Sheep Stealer. What the hell are you doing with these wings, sir? What is going on? A very, very dangerous looking dragon. And this just did it for me. Like, whoa, that's a big dragon. See how small she is compared to the dragon? I mean, all the dragons are big, but this girl ain't had no food. Like, we all know what happened in the dragon pit with the people. So I'm hoping, well, I mean, we pretty much know she's going to get it, but you never know. They might flip something on us. But yeah, again, I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed the finale. It was everything to me. I know a lot of people felt like it was a long preview and, but me personally, I enjoyed it. I loved it. Had a good time. Had some good food while I was watching it. Let me see what the chat is saying. Okay. But yeah, that's my review of the show. I loved it. 10s across the board. I can't wait to next season. Some people are saying we're not even have to wait 2 years. We'll just get it next year. So crossing my fingers about it. And there's supposed to be another show afterwards. That's takes I think 200 years after this time. But yeah. So in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for joining me. This is my first review. A lot of work, a lot of details in this show. I'm actually going to review Batman, the new animated series next. So yeah, stay tuned. Once again, I'm Cinematous. I review everything dealing with might and magic. That is my thing. So to the next time. And if you're liking the music that you're hearing in the background, let me turn it up a little bit. Hey. Yeah. My artist name is Chad Anthony. I actually do music. I do soul music, all types. This is off my album, an instrumental off my album, Intergalactic, which was a sci-fi album. I just wanted to do, stretch my imagination and sharpen my writing pen and do like a sci-fi soundtrack album. So the music you hear is actually the first song of the album called Heard the Signal. It's called Intergalactic. So check it out on iTunes. Once again, Chad Anthony on iTunes and Spotify. I'm on all digital streaming platforms. Check it out. I'll have actually more songs to play in my reviews because I'm going to play my music, not other people's music, okay? All right. Until the next time, peace and love and shout outs to Yo-Yo. She will be up here with me. We're actually going to do a quick review together on her ideas. We're going to discuss some things, discuss the future of the show, discuss a couple episodes this season. So yeah. And her name, Yo-Yo, if you're still here, put your name in the chat so they can follow you. And I actually added to the description as well. Okay, but I think it's Yoni's box. I'll put her in the description so she can check it out. Until the next time, might and magic, y'all, all day. Peace and love, y'all.